Welcome back to my channel Knowledge Chronicle.
Today's topic is something we often ignore, but it affects our farms, food, water, and even the air we breathe. We're talking about degradation by improper resource utilization and maintenance. That might sound a little heavy, but let me break it down for you in plain language, using real-world examples you can relate to. When we overuse or misuse natural resources, like soil, water, forests, we damage them. It's not just pollution. Sometimes it's our farming habits, construction, or irrigation methods that cause harm. Let's discuss the two biggest examples. First up, soil erosion. Do you know? It takes around 200 to 400 years to form just 1 centimeter of fertile topsoil naturally. But human activities can wipe that out in just a few years. So, how does soil erosion actually happen? Well, overcultivation is one big reason. That means, planting crops again and again without giving the soil any rest. Then there's unrestricted grazing, which is basically allowing cattle to eat grass anywhere, leaving the soil exposed. Deforestation is another cause. Cutting down trees removes the roots that hold the soil in place. And poor irrigation practices, like flooding fields incorrectly, can actually wash away the soil. When all these things happen together, we start to see large barren patches of land. Over time, these patches sort of merge and eventually form a desert. That's what we call desertification. It's honestly a huge global problem today. For example, in Rajasthan, areas near the Thar Desert are slowly expanding because of these human actions. Similarly, in parts of Africa, entire villages have been abandoned because the land turned unfit for farming. Now let's talk about another silent destroyer, waterlogging. When farmers irrigate crops without planning where extra water will drain, it collects in the soil. The soil stays too wet, which means plant roots can't breathe properly. But that's not all. This trapped water pulls salt up from underground layers. Salt starts collecting either as a thin white crust on the soil surface or around the roots of the plants. This is called soil salinity. Crops like wheat, rice, sugarcane, they cannot grow in salty soils. And here's the twist. This problem became very common after the Green Revolution in India. Yes, the Green Revolution helped India grow more food, but overuse of irrigation and fertilizers without proper planning also caused damage. So while we solved one problem, we created another. Here's the simple truth. We often use resources thinking they're unlimited. We forget that soil, water, forests, all of these actually need time and care to stay healthy. Over-farming, over-irrigation, cutting too many trees, expanding cities, all of this adds up, and honestly, it creates long-term damage. The good news is, solutions exist, so how can we stop it? So, let's talk about some sustainable practices. Crop rotation means planting different crops so the soil gets time to recover, Controlled grazing is about setting limits for where cattle can graze. Then there's afforestation, which is basically planting trees to replace lost forests. Better irrigation methods, like drip irrigation, can really help save water and prevent waterlogging. And of course, regular soil testing is important to check if the land is becoming salty or barren before it's too late. It's not just about farmers or scientists. If the land dies, food prices go up. And if water becomes salty, even drinking water can get affected. So why should you care? This is really about your future, your food, your environment. So the next time you see trees being cut down or farmland being misused, just remember, natural resources are not unlimited. Maintenance really does matter. Well, that's all for today's episode of Knowledge Chronicle. I truly hope you found this topic simple, clear, and valuable. If yes, then your one like, share, and subscribe will help us create more valuable content. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.